if we're actually live, huh?
There we are.
Y eso suena mucho acá.
Okay.
All right.
Welcome.
The Great Reset. New Year, New You.
New Year, New You 2024.
24. Holy smokes.
Welcome to live coaching.
So I'm going to look over here. I've got another device just to make sure that we are live. And I'll see if I can tag everyone.
I can't from my end.
Okay, so let's see here.
Everyone? No. I'm not able to tag
Hey,
anybody.
there we are. Brenda's here already. Wow, Brenda! I missed you too. Let's see if I can tag everyone.
Yay!
Yay!
Okay. Thank you, Jerad. Okay.
All right.
Oh,
Shannon's in the
email
house.
emails at noon.
Yeah, I saw that.
No, it was 1 p.m.
Noon Mountain Time.
Okay. And we're in what?
Central.
Central at the moment.
So, we'll go into that. We'll touch on that. But you're here. Thank you for being here, Shannon, Brenda, everybody else. We'll give people a chance to connect.
We have the list of questions you already made and the topics that we think it's important to go more into details.
We have a list, and Lau's checked it twice. So this is a list that you don't want to be on. Trust me, I've been there. You don't want to be there.
What do you mean?
On your list? Are you kidding me?
So thank you for being here.
Starting early now.
Oh yes, as usual.
Hello, Crystal.
Crystal, good to see you here.
Good to see you.
All right.
Cool. So I'm gonna turn this off because we've got comments. I tagged everybody. And also, just a quick, we've got a microphone here. Let us know if you can hear us okay. Is it too loud, too soft? We can make some adjustments.
Yes.
So let us know, please. And
let us know.
Diana, hello.
And also, we're gonna be here 1 hour to answer as much as we can if we know the answer, because a lot of things we don't know. So if we don't know, we will point you at the right direction, hopefully. So we will be here 1 hour, and we promise it can be fun and it can be extremely interesting. We don't know where this call is going, but definitely it's always interesting. So stick around. I know there's a lot of information. You can be scrolling Instagram posts, TikTok videos, all sorts of things that will cut your attention. But as much as possible, focus on this video and stop multitasking if that's a possibility for you.
So we got a handful of sisters from the membership, the Sisterhood. Hello, Diana. Hello, Crystal. We said hello already. Robin. Hello. Brenda says, I'm on day 5, no dairy, no meat. One day at a time. Yes, you can. Or
okay,
yes,
okay.
Can hear you
okay.
Fine. All right, awesome. Thank you, Brenda.
Okay.
Cool. So we're seeing the numbers, the count rise here, the number of people that are watching live. So also, when you get a chance, just drop a comment. Let us know if you're watching this live. If you're watching the replay, we always come back and look at these and see if there are any questions. And
that is very important, because if you have questions, please tag us, because otherwise we won't see it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of comments, so we might miss your comment. So please make sure to tag us.
Yes. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello.
Awesome. Okay, I'm
Let's
turn
start.
This off. Let's start. I'm gonna turn this off.
I want to start with the post that I did before it was January 1st, which is about kindness. I think most of you maybe know us already. We've been doing New Year, New You since 2020, and we're really, really grateful and humbled to be part of this 2024 group again. So, for your information, there is a lot of resources, and the previous New Year, New Yous are also, the information is in this group, what we did. So always make sure that whatever you're looking at in this group, you check the date, because this might be from another year. Okay, and this is not what we're doing this year, but you can still benefit from everything we've left for you in this group. By saying that, in relation to kindness, I mean that we are here and we are always posting during the whole year, not only during New Year, New You, but we're all constantly posting for you to open up your mind, open up your perspective, change perspective, research, question everything, because this is the place where we're going to tell you things that are not mainstream.
Question us, question the things that we share, question the things, because these are coming from our experiences. My experience
and our research
may be different from your experience and your research, and you at home may be very different. Your experience may be different than mine. Like, we're different ages, we're different group, we're different in different seasons. So the things that we're sharing is what we've experienced and researched and had firsthand experience with. So question us, absolutely.
However, we always request and we always ask for kindness and like for a genuine from a genuine place of really understanding, of really learning something new, not to mock, not to put bad vibrations, or not to be disrespectful with anybody, because certain topics might trigger you, and certain topics might push some buttons that you don't like, that you don't particularly agree upon, or you necessarily believe the same way, and that's perfectly fine. Everybody's welcome here as long as we can communicate with kindness and with good vibration, okay, with good energy, with love, with compassion, okay.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. We will always answer everybody that comes from that place, from our criteria, and that it genuinely wants to know and understand better.
Awesome. So catching up on some of the comments quick. Renee's in the house. Hello, Renee. Who else? Robin says, 5 days in the cold plunge. Awesome New Year's, new Christmas present. Not participating in the reset, but I'm in the Wellness Academy, so awesome, Robin.
Thank you.
Yeah, so some of you, our membership, we've got our sisterhood that are joining these calls as well. We do a weekly call. We set an hour aside to answer questions. So that goes to your next question, Robin. Can I ask a question related, not related to the Great Reset, but a former Monday mission? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's
so everybody can benefit.
You got it. Hello, Aaron. Hello,
Jennifer.
Okay, Jennifer already commented.
So welcome.
Tamara Renee. What a great way to start 2024.
Jerad, I think this is something really important. Topic number 2.
So there's a lot that's going on behind the scenes. Like, there's Ashley's whole team, design team, video editors, copywriters, social media. Like, there's a whole movement and time and energy, investment, like salaries of these people that are taking place to provide this information to all of you for free, like no cost, okay? So yes, is everything absolutely perfect? No. However, perfect. So has there been a few issues? We've seen a handful of emails. Hey, I'm not getting the email. Hey, I'm not getting the email. We're taking that as ambition from you and excitement because you want to participate, which is perfectly fine. But just know, everything will be available. Maybe it's a day late, a day on time, maybe a day after you expect it. But again, just know everybody's doing the best they can, and everything will reach you. Everything will be at the right time. And so again, if you didn't get today's email, again, obviously check your spam filter, check all these things. But you also have the link to the calendar. The last 3 days I've posted and tagged everyone in this group. You have the link to the calendar, which all the information is there with links to the videos, etc. So you have that resource already. And the other thing is, with all of these things, we know we're throwing a lot at you. Like, if you can imagine, and there's some great images online of kids playing in the water, like a hose, trying to take a drink from a fire hose. Like, that's what this is, and we totally understand. So we understand some of you that this is, you're just joining kind of this world. It may be confusing, and like, all we'd like to say is just take a deep breath, take a pause, chill. and really just focus on one thing. That's it. You can't focus on a million different things. Just focus on one, do that one thing. Okay, what's next? So one step at a time. This, although it's a 30-day challenge, and I totally get all of you want to win the first prize and come on down to the detox retreat in May. However, this is more than just that prize. This is a lifestyle. This
Lifestyle
is
change.
a marathon. This isn't a 100-yard dash. So a lifestyle change, if you truly take a step back, breathe, and start to make these changes and implement these things into your non-negotiable things you do every day, your life will be changed for the better, without question.
So summary is tengan paz.
Tenga paz.
We say in Spanish.
Chill out.
Chill. It's free. We say in Spanish, we have a saying in Spanish that the best translation would be, when somebody gifts you a horse, it's for free, a free horse, you won't check the
teeth, the dental records.
You won't check them. So a lot of moving parts. Chill. If you don't receive it at midday, fine. You will receive it late at night. Fine. That's what's meant to be. So just relax in that process and trust the process. Everything's perfect just as it is. Okay?
And again, we know this isn't directed to everybody, but just for some of the people that got super excited about not getting their emails, that's
right.
more so for you. So let's catch up with some of the comments, huh?
Yes.
Robin.
What a great
right
way.
No, there we go. Right here. Aaron. Okay.
You're in the reset, but okay, yeah. Aaron and Robin, all good. Hello, Nicole.
Hello.
Little louder. I just. Okay. Just blast if you are in doubt. Perfect. Sheila, hello.
Kathleen, just starting. What lower cost oil should I use? Okay. Kathleen, can you expand on that? Are we talking about blasting oil? Are we talking about cooking oil? What type of cooking? Are we cooking with heat? Are we talking about salad dressings? Let us know if you can clarify on that.
Okay, Crystal, looking at Ayurvedic way, you think I'm a kapha. The Great Reset stresses fresh, not cooked food. Example, as kapha, I understand it's better to cook my vegetables for better digestion. Should I eat more raw than cook? That's completely up to you and what works for you. So I would say you would have to test what does feel better for you. And obviously always you can mix it up. It's not that you will only eat raw or you will only eat cooked. You can eat more raw if that feels better for your body, and here and there some cooked food, or vice versa. But you will have to test and see what works best for you. For kapha, yes, is more raw, in the raw spectrum, but test for yourself first. Okay, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Jennifer says, thank you for the advice on eating protein separately from my carbs. This has been an amazing change. Beautiful. So like we're day 5 and you're already seeing a change. That's amazing, Jennifer.
Okay, drinking cucumber juice as I listen.
Yeah,
woo!
Yay.
Many amazing resources.
Okay.
Yes.
Now we caught up on the comments here. So now there's a lot of people that don't know us. They don't know you, they don't know our story. So maybe we just take a quick minute and just kind of let them know how we got here and why in the heck we're here.
I don't know why in the heck we're here.
Why in the heck should they listen to us now?
I don't know.
Maybe you shouldn't.
No, I mean, let's see. Very summary as well. Originally, I'm a vet. So a veterinarian. And I have also a specialization in clinical pathology. That's my area, which is diagnostic testing and laboratory work. So just to give you a little bit of an example, when you take your pets to the vet and they do blood samples, urine samples, poop samples, they send it normally to a specialized laboratory. That's me, pretty much. So I receive those samples. And I studied the full career of veterinarian medicine, and then I decided to keep my studies with this specialization. So that's my area. I'm really into diagnostic lab numbers and putting the puzzle together to give you results, so your vet knows what's going on with your pet, pretty much, by looking at lab work. That's my background. Real quick, at some point in my career, I used to have my own lab, my own business. I was getting sick. Of course, I was very into Western medicine ways because that's how I was educated in my career and all my life, pretty much. My mother is a microbiologist, so I have like a strong science-based background. When you are 100% in the Western medicine and Western medicine does not work for you and what's happening and how you feel, and what people do or what the doctors tell you to do is just to take pills to manage your anxiety or your depression, and you know that's not it, that there's something else, that there's something more than you can do, and you get really frustrated because you do not receive the answers you're looking for, especially coming from a place of thinking that you know what you're doing based on your education. It really completely breaks everything and creates it just is a complete change of lifestyle, what you have to do. So because I was getting sick, I decided to start learning more about holistic health coaching. So I also started with IIN, and I have my degree in IIN, which is the integrative nutrition of holistic health. So I have my degree on that. That's how I became a health coach. And all those principles I started applying to our life and to my pet's life. And now we're here. And part of that healing process involved sound healing. And we also have our little fun/work company, which is Pura Vida Vibrations. You can find us on Instagram, where we do sound healing, sound sessions, and breath work for the community or private groups. So that's our background, pretty much.
Yeah, and just to fill in, so during these times of panic attacks, depression, anxiety, we're like trying to figure things out, and we're human guinea pigs for years, and still are. We're continuing to test, and we look at things, and like I said, Lau says, diagnostics. So she's able to understand at a cellular level how things work and interact, and by doing these different things, she was able to explain them to me, which I don't have that background, and it just made so much sense, and it was really easy to understand. So all of these things that we've tested over the years, it just kind of happened where we met Ashley. She came to one of our sound sessions. We hit it off and became friends, and then later on she's like, hey, I love what you guys are doing and how you guys are living and some of your experiences. I'd love for you to share. And that was back in 2020 when we did the first New Year, New You. And now here we are as well with so
that's it.
That's that.
All right, so let's see.
What do we got?
Okay, Robin finally had a chance to try carrot cleanse. Good. That's something we don't do in this Great Reset. We're doing it in our membership. Is this too much to combine? I think not for you, Robin, because you've been doing that for a while and for a few months already. So I think you're going to be good with that. And he also mentioned no legumes, which I had a small amount in homemade veggie soup. Any concern? No concerns. If everything is very mindful, you shouldn't be worried about the little things here and there. So I think you'll be perfectly fine. More prepared than most when they do the liver flush.
Perfect.
So I have the questions here.
So here, during this time, all of you that are here and watching the replay, feel free to drop a comment. If you have any questions, any concerns, if there's anything that you'd like some clarification on, that's why we're here. So take advantage of this time. We did make a note of a handful of questions that did come up in a handful of the posts, so we'll get to those. But if we don't touch on a question that you have, there are no dumb questions. So definitely drop it in.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you there's other people that have the same exact questions. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. In the meantime, we have some that we think it's important to address. Somebody asked about organic plant-based protein supplement. What I like and my personal ¿cómo se dice? Escogencia. My personal choice. I really like Anima Mundi herbals, and they have a really good protein supplement. So I would recommend that. Plus, the packaging is not plastic. So for me, that's definitely a big, big, big plus. I will write it down here. So it's Anima Mundi herbals, and there you can find a good protein supplement.
Okay. So real quick, Adria. So you joined this at some time, Adria. Like I said, this same group is what we've been using for the last 4 years of the New Year, New You with Ashley Black's free challenge. So at some point you joined this group, and here we are, we're doing a live, and we're just going over a handful of questions and concerns of this week 1 of the Great Reset of Ashley Black's New Year, New You challenge.
It could be sometime between 2020 and 2023 that you join. And the group has changed names during the years. It was Food School first year, then Reconnecting with Your Essence, I think it was last year. And the previous year was Detox Challenge. And this year is the Great Reset. So at any point you join, otherwise you wouldn't be here.
So Renee forgot her question.
How do we found a sound meditation? We will do for you soon, and we will post so you can have access to a sound meditation from us.
Really cool. Talking with Ashley, and we put something together really cool for you for free as well. So keep an eye open, and we'll let you know when that's ready to go.
All right, Robin, I have been gluten-free for years, but in listening to the Never Sick Again book, I have used healthier gluten-free pasta. Would this be considered as bad as white flour? I use whole grains, millet, rice, more, but wanted to validate this. I think that everything you do that it's closer to what's healthier, it's already a plus. Normally, I would suggest going gluten-free with organic sources and not enriched flours, but that's not necessarily what is available. So if you cannot find organic, gluten-free, unbleached or enriched and all these things, that would be number 1. But if you cannot find it, then go to the maybe not so healthy option. Maybe it's organic, gluten, ancient grain pasta. Maybe the next step would be, and going step by step until you find the best possible option for what you have available. That's definitely better than the white, enriched, bleached flour that everybody uses.
So just for some of you as well, so that would be referring to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which I believe was yesterday, right? Day 4, the apocalypse. One of the things that we definitely want to eliminate are these flours that are super just hyper processed, starting out with when they're planted, tons of pesticides, chemicals, crazy things on nutrient depleted soils, and then the processing in the plants, well, not the actual plant, but the manufacturing facility, the process that it goes through. It's just stripped, so it's not even real talk. It's not even real food.
It's not food.
It's not food. So that's one of the things that you definitely want to, if you want cell health and you don't want to be sick, according to this book, and we agree because we've tested it on ourselves. That's definitely one of the things you want to eliminate, like yesterday.
Okay. So let's go here 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
So also somebody asked for creamy, how to make things creamier. And I think some people posted a really amazing resources, which was when you cook cauliflower and then you blend it to the soups, that definitely makes things creamier. I also find that when you cook onion to the caramelized point, where they're like a little sticky, you let them cool down, or once they're cooked, you blend it also with the soup or the liquid. That makes things definitely creamier. Coconut milk is definitely something that makes things really, really creamy.
Mm-hmm. Another idea that we've done, let's say we're making a soup or some sort of curry, and it has, let's say, lentils or chickpeas or whatever it is, you can take a handful of those chickpeas or lentils, put them in the blender, get those nice and creamy, put it back in, and then all of a sudden you've got your own thickener right there as well. And it's not
like
processed.
creamy.
Yeah.
Thickener for adding a little bit of thickness, I would suggest arrowroot powder. It's a really, really good option, and it's gluten-free. So you can find organic arrowroot powder that will make things creamier, and you will not be using like a GMO corn-based thickener, for example. And definitely not enriched flour, because I know a lot of people use flour to make things more thick and sticky. And the creamer for coffee, for example, that somebody asked as well, I would also suggest check the creamer that Anima Mundi Herbal sells. That's a really, really, really good option.
Tastes good too. So Robin says, going back to the question about the sound sessions, like sound sessions are so cool. I love them before bed. Thank you, Robin. Okay, so Adria, where do I find more organic and healthier foods? I know the co-ops and such have them, but are there any bigger stores that we can trust? So for everybody, we know everybody's living in different towns, different cities, different geographic parts around the States, around the US, or around the world. Really, it's connecting and finding what's available in your area. And it shouldn't be much more than a day of just posting, maybe on some of your local community chat, maybe pages, maybe it's on Facebook, maybe there's other areas where people connect. Maybe there's farmers markets. There's definitely places, even nowadays in these small towns, you've got people that are coming together that are making healthy, homemade, artisanal type of goods, and speaking with them, connecting with them, and getting their experience if you don't have, if you can't do a quick Google search. But yeah, definitely co-ops and smaller general stores, that health food stores. You should be able to find something really quick.
And also the healthiest option would be that you start growing something in your backyard. Maybe it's just one thing. Maybe you can start with carrots. Maybe you can start with tomatoes. Maybe we can start with herbs. But if you start connecting with that, with growing your own food, maybe it's just one thing, but that can open up the perspective for you in many, many, many different ways, because that will be the healthiest. You will know how you grow your food, hopefully find organic soil, and obviously not using pesticides and that stuff. I was gonna say another word, but I decided to use stuff instead, so that will be the ideal. So even though you buy your food, I would encourage you to plant something and start working with your plants.
So I grew up in Minnesota, so I totally get there's a short growing season, but there's still places and activities where people do gather that will be able to help. So also, very important, I've seen a lot over the years, like my parents and other people, they start to connect with some of the local farmers that are growing and producing, amazing quality food. So connecting with them as well and getting to know them and how they're taking care of the land and the crops that they're, and being a part of that whole process. It's going to be mind-blowing, and you never know the things that start to open up once you start to be exposed and you see what takes place and everything that takes place in that process, and the friends and the new people that you meet. You have no idea where that may take you. So it's a bit of an adventure. So
that's good. It's not me. Okay, so you, Jennifer, you've been milling your own organic grains for bread. What do you think? Great option. Great option. If you have that, those ingredients available, really good option.
If I may, one thing that Lau has really instilled in us, and within the membership, it's a kind of like a go-to statement, is everything in moderation. Like, obviously, that's an amazing way, because you're getting a good quality product and you're making your own foods. However, if I just eat bread and sandwiches and pasta every day, all day long, Obviously, I'm not going to be getting the nutrients, the full balance of nutrition that I
Yes.
need. So with everything, not just your own bread, but everything with,
Yeah, and
with
this
moderation.
is for everybody, not just for you, but for everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely. And how you prepare your bread, if it's sourdough, even better. Um, or if you can sprout the grains for a little bit, soak them before you use them for cooking, and using obviously non-dairy and stuff like that. That would be even better.
So exactly, Shannon. It's
Food-like
food-like
product.
yeah. So Robin says each new book or source finds a little thing I hadn't heard before. The book mentioned puffed rice, which I was buying an organic rice cake to satisfy my crunch.
Yeah.
Fix that crunchy, yeah. And apparently that puffing process makes them toxic. Came home and threw them out of the pantry.
Yes,
Beautiful, Robin.
every little thing. So imagine the Rice Krispies that some kids eat for breakfast every day. Or they mix it also with this sweet dairy thing, and they make these bowls like Rice Krispies with leche condensada. I don't know how to.
Condensed milk.
Oh my gosh, imagine. So all the kids eating puff cereal
with milk.
With milk, man, really bad. Really, really bad.
Crazy.
So Rinda.
Hello, Rinda. Just joining. Oh my goodness, I eat every day for lunch cottage cheese and fruit. Can we use vegan cottage cheese? Would that still not pair with fruit?
Fruit, absolutely alone. Completely 100% alone. And the idea also with this is that most of the time you can follow these food combinations or this information we're providing. The idea is not that you get rigid and obsessed and frustrated because, no, that's counterproductive. The idea is that most of the time, let's say from 80 to 90%, you make really conscious decisions for eating fruit absolutely alone, especially melons and watermelon. If you eat melon, it's just melon. You cannot eat that with any other fruit, for example. So only fruit, and definitely cheese is not a good idea because it's dairy. The vegan options are not necessarily healthy. So I want to make also this very clear. The fact that something says vegan or gluten-free or I don't remember what else, it does not mean it's healthy. You have to read the ingredients and really see what is it made of, because these vegan cheeses, some of them are made of trans oils,
chemicals,
and flavors and this and that. It doesn't make any sense. So the best way to substitute cheese is like nut seeds type of cheese, like cashew cheese, things like this. But you always have to read the ingredients and see what it contains.
I was just going to say, a huge takeaway, you might want to start, if you haven't, I know a lot of you have, but if you haven't yet, like this one change alone can change the trajectory of your health. Start reading labels. Every time you're going to the supermarket and you're going to put something in your cart, read the label. Like, how often do you do that? And you see how much sugar's in there, how much flours, how much all of the four horsemen are actually in these things, that it's mind-boggling. So,
but it's the ingredients mainly.
Yeah, not so much the
calories,
nutritional value. It's the
ingredients.
What are the raw ingredients that are used in making that
and
food-like product?
Also, the number one ingredient is what has the most. Can you explain?
In the order that they're listed is in the proportion that they are. So like the very first ingredient, that has the most quantity compared to all the other ingredients.
So if your granola says gluten-free organic granola and it looks amazing, and you go to the back and it says ingredients, sugar. I mean, most of it is sugar, so it doesn't mean it's healthy. You have to read labels.
Awesome. What else we got here?
Okay.
Keep going. A little more.
Okay, here. Aquí, Diana.
Okay. Diana, dairy milk is considered a sweet like fruit as I understand it, but getting away from dairy would be recommended. Ayurvedic heat the lactates out of the dairy they use, again, as I understand it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Ayurveda comes from thousands of years ago, based on the story they tell us. Could be longer than that. But imagine the circumstances where they observed this and they started recommending this. So I always tell people you have to see the context and the way that people were living back then and not take, for example, just one element of that lifestyle and apply it to today. So, for example, back then in India, thousands of years ago, where there was no contamination of the air as we have it, there was no cars or things like that. People were actually moving, walking. The cows were raised in completely different environment.
They weren't loaded with tons of antibiotics and all sorts of medications just to keep them not sick.
We have to see the full context to understand why they were recommending that, and consider most people from India are Vata dosha, and this is some Ayurvedic type of metabolism. So when you're Vata, for example, like me, I'm mainly Vata, you need some lubrication or extra lubrication for your body. That's where this type of Ayurvedic recommendations of dairy come in. But it's not the same for people in the Western world, where mostly in the United States, it's a combination between Pitta and Kapha. So it's not really adequate to eat dairy anyways. But again, that's something we won't touch in this group because it's very long. We can explain more, but only if you join the membership. so
not to confuse you, like these first 5 days we haven't talked about Ayurvedic.
No, we haven't.
Body type, so don't worry about that. That's something if you want to investigate later, but it came up, and I know a lot of you do and are familiar with that, so that's great. And if it doesn't, just that part in one ear out the other, you can look at or investigate that later on. Okay. Okay, Adriel, I'm in Indiana. We'll check that later. Jenner says, no, only once in a while. Okay, perfect, with the bread. Yeah, okay. Beautiful. Renee says, I usually eat sourdough bread, if any bread at all. In the context of this reset, it's still the best, right? So I have that on the list. Here again, sourdough, definitely better than normal bread. However, what are the main ingredients? What are the raw materials? Are they organic flours? Are they organic ingredients? Because if you're doing a sourdough bread thinking that it's going to be, super healthy, but it's filled with all these pesticide-laden flours, it
doesn't make sense.
It's not good.
Especially like the regular sourdough is made with enriched, bleached, white flour, so you have to check that out and make sure what are those ingredients.
But absolutely, like if you have an option and like this is your only option and you've got regular bread or sourdough, well, then I would probably do the sourdough or just not eat and just fast.
Or make your own in your house, which is also available. You can do a lot of gluten-free healthy options for bread. Rice Krispie treats with marshmallows and lots of sugar. Yes, exactly.
Beautiful. Right here. Savannah, I'm Thai and we use fish sauce in our cooking. Is that okay? We also use oyster sauce. So the question is, what does it say on the ingredients list? Mm-hmm. I'm willing to bet there's a lot of conventional, just normal, that have a lot of MSG. Mm-hmm. We didn't talk about this week.
Monosodium glutamate. Yeah.
Right. And a lot of preservatives and just crazy ingredients in there, a lot of salt.
But if you have a good source, for example, this comes from ancient as well, from your culture, and they used to use these ingredients in a different way. They source it in a completely different way than what we go and buy in the supermarket. If that's a possibility for you somehow, or to find the cleanest option available, then that would be okay. Because if you think in your ancestors, They didn't go and buy it to the supermarket. They prepare it from scratch to give this amazing flavor that Thai food has. It's extremely delicious, and I don't want to ban that, especially because of your ancestry. It is okay, but as long as you find a way of getting the cleanest option.
That goes with everything, not just fish sauce or oyster sauce. It's every time you're cooking, like, what are the best ingredients that I can get my hands on and truly just start using that.
And if you have options as well, research how your ancestors used to do it, and see what can you take from that information and apply it to your day-to-day life.
And if you have a chance to make your own, I bet you it tastes 10 times better, maybe 100 times better. So Robin says, I grew up with my family eating this stuff. No wonder why I have liver stones to purge. Yeah.
I think most of us did. We didn't know.
Yeah.
Our parents didn't know either.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Renee says, I usually do a smoothie for my first meal of the day. I have now taken out the fruit. So it's just the almond milk and my vegan protein powder. However, I saw in this reset that one of the recipes was to add organic cacao. But my previous teachings tell me that a tablespoon of cacao or 2, like the recipe calls for, is too much. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Everybody's different, has different tolerance to cacao. And cacao, even though it's a fruit, is more on the fatty side. So it is a good combination when you're doing milky type of smoothies or milky creamy type of food, because of the high content in fat. Maybe 2 tablespoons for somebody that's not very used to cacao would be a little bit too much.
Yeah. And depending, like, how big is your smoothie? 12 or 16 ounces? That's a good amount.
And again, everything with moderation. I wouldn't do that like every single day.
And again, we sound like a broken record, but find a good quality cacao, because there's a lot of cacaos out there that'll say, okay, 100% or cacao, organic cacao powder, and then the next sugar.
See?
Are you kidding me?
But when you come, Renee, sorry, I don't know if I should say that, but you can get really good cacao here.
What do we got here? Lana? At the vet now, just popped in recipes for homemade nut cheeses and any other recipes we can use to avoid the unhealthy stuff and know what we are putting into our own bodies. Thank you.
Okay, there are like many resources online where you can get healthy cheese, vegan cheese. There are even courses on how to do your own healthy vegan cheese. I would suggest, check them out and maybe explore something different in your life that can spark some creativity. That will be good. The main idea is that with the cheat sheets that I've shared so far, you can have the discernment of knowing what should be in your food and what not. So today I shared the cheat sheet is how to read labels. So have that handy, print it, put it in your fridge door, and that is a really good foundation to understand and to know what can you choose when you go to buy, or how can you understand what would be the healthiest option when you prepare. Yeah. So that will answer the other part. How to avoid the unhealthy stuff. I would say main thing, read labels. Learn to read labels. Use today's cheat sheet that I gave you. Vamos aquí un toque.
Yes.
All right. So just have some questions here. Carrot and hummus. Somebody asked about this. Again, cook and raw. This is definitely something that in Ayurvedic food combinations it is not recommended. But as I mentioned before, the idea is not to stress you out and to give you no options, because then it will be a little challenging. But most of the days you can be mindful about these decisions. Obviously, in this case, you have hummus that is cooked and carrots that is raw. But I would say there are food combinations that are maybe that have a little bit more of weight in what you want to avoid. This wouldn't be so bad if you eat it here and there with that awareness. But it's more like the combinations where you eat meat and potatoes, for example, and everything that looks like that, or fruit with milk, or fruit with stuff, or leftovers with fresh food. Like there are some things that there's a little bit of a gray line that you can play with just to make an easier transition into this food combination thing.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe you feel a different way. But I would say, again, a lot of you that this is just kind of all new to you and you're feeling overwhelmed, what I would do is I'd take a step back. And for me, I would say the most important would be the combinations are important, but that can be later. First and foremost is looking at what you have in your house, in the kitchen and in the pantry. Look at the ingredients. Are they organic? Are they pesticide free, chemical free? Like that would be the first and foremost important thing to replace all of that canned, packaged, processed, not organic, and just crazy laden, chemical laden food like products. Get that out first. Then once you kind of get into that rhythm, then maybe you start looking at some of these other maybe deeper details of the intricacies of carrots and hummus. But if you're having non-organic carrots or carrots that are grown with tons of pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, and all crazy stuff, and then chickpeas that are canned that are also grown with tons of pesticides, fungicides, herbicides.
Plastic, or in the supermarkets that they sell already the plastic, the hummus in a plastic container.
Right, exactly.
For example.
For sure. That, I would say, carries more weight than maybe the combination. So prioritizing is what I'm saying would be something to look at. And that may take away some of the overwhelm if you're feeling overwhelmed. If you want to add anything to that, or if you feel differently.
I think, again, most of the time make conscious decisions on how to combine your food. And if you're doing a combination that doesn't really mix, then just be aware of that. And that if you have bloating later on, you will realize, okay, this doesn't work for me. But not to feel that you are under so much pressure that is frustrating. That's not the whole point, because food should be something that you can enjoy, that you can be grateful for, that you can celebrate, not that you feel frustrated or restricted. So there's a fine balance between eating most of your food excellent ingredients and having consideration in the combinations, but there's also that part where you can eat carrots and hummus, because that's what you have available and it's a really clean source. So it's all about balance. Okay, and I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Just to add something as well, in the food that was shared with you in the email, we don't send those emails. Those emails come from the team. It's a little bit different, a lot of moving parts. But the salmon, if somebody saw the first day recipe, salmon with broccoli or something like that, salmon can only be wild caught. Don't buy regular salmon because it's full of toxins and it's one of the most contaminated animal protein food sources in the market, especially because of all the different types of dyes that they use, because if you want your salmon really pink, otherwise you won't buy it,
So we have some friends that are from Chile, and there's huge salmon farms in Chile. And they're explaining to us what they do. When you go to the hardware store and you're looking at paint palettes, they got different shades of a certain color. That's what they do with the salmon meat. They're like, okay, what color do you want the meat? Well, let's have it this. So they know exactly the combination of chemicals to put in the food and the things that they're giving, so the meat is that color.
So salmon only wild caught, please. If you think salmon is healthy and you're eating regular salmon from all the restaurants because it's healthy, it's not. Okay.
And that's a good point. The recipes you're going to notice there's a couple of recipes that have a couple of ingredients that don't fit with the book. Again, a lot of moving parts. There was
People
a lot of
involved.
people, and there's deadlines to get things out. So use as well. Question. Look at the recipes. Oh, wait, they're asking for dairy, but dairy is one of the four horsemen. I don't want dairy. Okay, so what can I do to replace that? And just use some creativity, some common sense. Reach out to do a quick Google search. Hey, what substitutes for this? And make um, those changes. Peanuts.
Also, peanuts. There was something in the food options.
Peanut oil.
It was shared. Peanut oil, I put it in the chart. I did that chart. The oils chart. The peanut oil, I put it there because it's information. Because it's some type of oil that it's available in the market. But that doesn't mean that you're gonna use everything that I'm putting in the chart. That's just for information purposes. Peanut oil, peanut butter, peanut nuts, raw peanuts, cooked, salted, whatever. Peanuts are not a good option to eat in any way unless you grow them. You take them, you roast them, and you eat them.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're full of mold, and mold is high in toxins. So avoid peanut
like the plague.
Like the plague. Don't eat peanut anything, including the peanut oil, and use alternatives. If you like nuts, just make a search. What are the nuts that have the less mold? Because most of the grains and nuts and seeds have a certain amount of mold because of the process of storage
and shipping, etc. So
that no peanuts.
Yeah. So catch up on a couple of messages.
And just real quick, most people say that they're allergic to peanuts. Maybe. But what they don't know is that maybe they're allergic to the aflatoxins or the toxins that are released because of the high content of mold that they have. So it could be something different, right? Anyways.
Cool. Let's catch up real quick on those.
The Ayurvedic experience that you were, Diana, they play music to the cows. They don't pasteurize milk, or homogenize, whichever one.
They cannot do legally.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, really different way of lifestyle. Yeah.
So we got Rebecca. Hey, Rebecca.
No, where are we? Where?
The comments are bouncing around. So we got the cacao. Here, hold on. Right here. So Lana says, thank you, Renee. I'm hiding in your luggage when you go to Costa Rica. Shannon says, Renee, come with me. We can carpool. Diana says, I've heard that you will absorb more nutrients by eating foods that give you joy.
Yes. So make sure you're not eating all stressed out. Let's go.
Lana says, it's hard to find these things that are not in cans. There are some that say BPA-free lining. Have never seen chickpeas in glass. I guess dried and cooking my own is the way to go.
Of course.
Absolutely. And it's really easy, actually, Lana.
Of course.
The night before, you put them in some water, you soak them, and it takes 30 minutes to cook them, and you've got them. It's like, and you can be doing other things while they're cooking. It's just a matter of planning a little bit and accommodating the schedule, but it's super easy, and you're going to notice how good it tastes, the huge difference in that. So Diana says, what's your caution around apple cider vinegar to use instead of celery juice?
No, I never heard that, especially with our protocols, our morning protocols that we share. Apple cider vinegar, definitely, it's a huge no. Like, vinegar in itself is just very sporadically and for very intended purposes, but I don't suggest ever people drinking vinegar because that draws calcium out of your bones, but also it really affects your liver. So definitely huge no.
Very harsh. How acidic it is, it's just really tough on the system to bring that to a normal pH where it can start to assimilate it or get rid of it, because it's Yeah, it's so harsh. And pickle your liver, Lau, pickled liver.
Yes.
Okay, what else we got? Brenda, just watched on Netflix. You Are What You Eat. Twin Experience. Wow, so much good info, and they discussed about the salmon.
Good.
Oh, that's awesome. Robin
Great.
says that's so disgusting that they do that to our food. I bet people that work in those farms never eat what they produce.
Or they're really sick. They're
Wow.
really sick. Actually, near where Jared lives, there's a factory where they produce all these food flavors and all these food
Like
colors.
cheese type. Actually, they actually produce cheese there. Cheese.
So when they take people from the community inside the factory, well, you can explain it better.
Yeah, they got like the Better Business Bureau kind of has this thing where people can go around and get to know the different businesses in the community. And there's one where they go in and they have to put hazmat suits on because all the chemicals they're putting in this food type of products. Yeah, definitely interesting. So Rebecca as well.
Hello, Rebecca.
I'm watching this as well on Netflix. So interesting.
With your husband, how is Ramel?
That's awesome. Yes, sending Ramel as well and you. Big bear hugs. What else we got? Brenda, I love the science behind it too. What a good series. Robin says I just started doing them in the Instapot, so they cook quick, and I do a big batch. There you go. So we're talking about chickpeas. There you go. Robin has firsthand experience. She soaks her chickpeas, puts them in the Instapot, and it's easy peasy.
We do the same with beans and everything. Lentils, beans, all sorts of legumes. Make sure you soak them before you cook them.
Lihia, thank you both of you for opening our minds about the importance of read products labels and ask ourselves about the healthiness of the food we usually buy and eat. Gracias, Lihia. Lana says we'll need to look into that. Thank you. Need to look into that or choose to look into that? That's another thing on the list here. Take a look at the words that we use.
See, I was gonna go there.
Go for it. Go there.
So, the words are spells. You know, this idea of spells doesn't come because somebody decided that they were gonna do it in the Tales of the Witch, you know. So
Harry Potter.
The words are spells. That's how you spell a word. Spelling. So what you're doing with your words, that you're actually putting all the intention to manifest what you're saying. So I'm a little bit more in the coach side, that if you say it's gonna be hard, guess what? It's going to be hard. If you want this to be hard, keep saying that's gonna be hard. If you want this to change and perhaps find some joy or find some creativity, or you can change it by start using different words. And it doesn't mean that not necessarily you're going to have some friction in the process. It means that if you put the words on what you want to create, then you're going to manifest something differently, and your process is going to be different.
So just to add to that, so it's not lying. Like if I've never ran a 100-mile race and I gotta do it tomorrow, like, yeah, it's gonna be hard. But if I continue to say it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be even more difficult. It's gonna be harder. But if I change that word hard to it's gonna be exciting, it's not. I'm not lying to myself. I'm not lying. It can be exciting. And again, not to say it's not gonna have its challenges, but with those challenges you get triumphs, right? So it's finding a way to empower yourself, or having empowering statements as opposed to disempowering, because we already have like all of these things that we're talking about, the 4 horsemen, the food combinations, like all of these things, the cards are already stacked against us in a lot of situations. So we don't need, I'm using that word consciously, we don't need to continue to put more cards on that stack. So awareness with the words, they become manifest, as a lot of people in this group have already seen firsthand.
Okay, real quick, coconut milk recipe. What we do, we buy the coconuts because we live in the tropics. We open them with a machete. We pull the meat out, put that in the Vitamix, the water, the meat, we blend it, and we have amazing coconut milk. So I know some of you ask for that, and I know a lot of you don't live in the tropics and maybe you cannot get coconuts, but that's what we do here. Um,
A lot of Asian stores do have coconuts, so you could do that as well.
and be careful with the machete.
You're gonna get people complaining, Lau. I cut myself with the machete, Lau. It's your fault. Maybe we should have everybody sign a waiver.
Yeah, that's what we do, but we have practice. If you live in Costa Rica or if you live in the tropics, you know how to use a machete.
Suzanne Jimenez, hello. All right, these comments are bouncing around. Let's see if we can find. Diana says, my hairdresser is using the vinegar because celery gets so expensive. I couldn't remember why it's not recommended. Oh. Thank you. Yeah, definitely on an empty stomach. Now, for some of you, this is a protocol that we've done in the membership for years, and actually did it in New Year, New You for a couple of years. Oh. So on an empty stomach, you don't want to be putting in a very harsh, abrasive, super acidic substance in our body. It's quite a shock. There's been a lot of hype about apple cider vinegar, but again,
trend.
It's about doing the research and understanding
why,
how acidic and what that really does, especially long term.
Actually, just to wrap it up, brain gut connection. One second. And
I actually did a screenshot here. Give me 1 second.
So I have another question about the video number 3 that I was gonna do this and I didn't say what I was gonna say. I know what I was gonna say, just that there's a huge brain gut connection. So for everybody that has gut challenges, or you have SIBO, or you have whatever disease in your gut, bloating, reflux, anything that's happening in your digestive system has a strong connection with your mental state. So most people, I've known that 1 every 3 women in the USA are taking antidepressive or anxiety medication. This is absolutely insane, because this is just, take a pill, that's it, we're gonna cover your symptoms. And the problem might be very, very high chance that it's starting in your gut health. So if you want to have a better mental state, or even reverse your depression or anxiety, focus on your gut health. We have one sister in our membership that is the only one in the clinic she used to go with the doctor, that in I don't know how many, 23 years, is the only one that has been able to stop anxiety and depression medication. And the people in the clinic is like, wow, what are you doing?
They've never seen it before.
They never seen that before, because once you start with this medication, you're there forever. But she was part of our group implementing what we teach. She was able to heal herself, no anxiety, no depression, and great digestive health.
So this just came across my feed, and disclaimer, I did not fact check this, but it definitely resonates. So it might be off a few points, but the gist of it is, so this person is saying it's a reliable source, but it says 50% of the dopamine and 90% of the serotonin is created in the intestine, not in the brain. Okay, so again, 50% of dopamine, 90% of serotonin is produced in the intestine,
which are the feel-good hormones,
and not the brain. So the majority, this is in Spanish actually, but the majority of the persons, or majority of people, don't understand that to control your mind, you have to change the way you eat. This determines a huge part of your mental state, your energy, your
humor. No, not humor.
I'll think of it here.
Cravings,
and your thought process as well, your mood as well. So there you go, gut health. So these are all these things that we're talking about, the food combinations, and of course the apocalypse 4 horsemen have a huge impact of exactly this, of the brain and gut connection, the gut health. So that's why
I want to address this question, the last one that I
Okay.
have written. Is almond milk or oat milk an acceptable substitute for cow milks? Yes and no. It depends. If your almonds are organic, yes. If the oatmeal is gluten-free organic oatmeal, yes. If it's conventional almonds, no. Grown in California full of pesticides, no. If the oatmeal is mixed with wheat and not gluten-free and not organic,
sprinkled
no.
with glyphosate.
And also, when you buy milk of this type, you have to read labels, you have to read ingredients, because some of them have flavors, have thickeners, have colors, and they market it as really healthy, cool almond milk, vegan stuff, and it's not healthy. So you have to read ingredients. You basically want water and almonds, water or oatmeal, and making your own in your house is extremely, extremely easy. You don't need anything else but that.
And the next thing as well, and we'll go in more into detail later on as the challenge continues on, is as well containers. So a lot of these containers have plastics or are lined with plastics that create huge disruptions and huge loads of toxicity as well, because it leaches into whatever that product is. So very important as well.
Vegan fake cheese, we already talked about that. Not everything that's vegan is healthy. Not everything that's gluten-free is healthy. You have to read labels. Okay.
So we're gonna go through these last comments, and there's one thing that I wanted to mention. I've heard this, I've seen this comment or a version of this comment quite a bit here in some of the posts, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to eat now if I can't eat this? Oh, I can't eat this now. Oh, now I can't eat this. So if you just take a step back and you look, actually, this statement says it all. We had a sister, or have currently, Anne. She made this statement that stopped all of us in our tracks. She says, nothing tastes as good as healthy feels. Nothing tastes as good as healthy feels. So, oh my gosh, I can't go out to eat now when my friends are eating pizza and pasta. Or I can't go out and have ice cream with friends, family, this and that. Like, just because everybody is doing something that is damaging their body and their cells doesn't mean you have to. Now, that being said, every once in a while, you want to do this, do that, by all means, do it. Like, we're not here to judge. We're not here to tell you what's best for you. Only you can determine that. These are some overlying principles that will definitely affect your health. So you choose what you want to do, but at the same time, again, nothing tastes as good as healthy feels.
No balsamic vinegar, ideally no, and very sporadically. Olive oil and lemon juice instead. Lemon, it's check the food combination chart that I posted on day 2. Please check that out and see the recommendations for lemon. Let's see. When you get to Hacienda del Sol and they hand you the coconut with a straw in it, you really taste coconut water for the first time. Yes, because Robin has been into the detox retreat that we do here in Costa Rica, full week of detox, and here you can taste
detox and blasting
real coconut
with
water.
Ashley and her team. It's
so crazy. Dried coconut milk powder I had asked about, or raw coconut flakes. You mix those with water and you can use your Vitamix to mix them and make your own coconut milk. I think that will be a best alternative than canned stuff. Just make sure that you read the labels of your milk powder and your flakes and make sure they don't have added sugar. That's really, really important, or other weird ingredients. But that is a good alternative, yes.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yes, people had the times a little wrong. We're still here. So can you use it in recipes? And semen, I'm not sure what you... apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
Ideally not. I mean, if you not use it, it would be ideal.
Yeah. And again, if there's a recipe, if there's a day you have some of it, it's not the end of the world, but it's just bringing awareness to some of these things. Like there's times where we'll consume this or that. It's not ideal, but as well, we don't get all stressed out. It's like, it is what it is. Like, so everything with moderation and with mindfulness.
Everything in moderation. So Renee, February, everybody that comes to Costa Rica, welcome. We'll be here. And no depression and anxiety treatment anymore. Great. And
That's
somebody,
amazing. So hold on, that's really important. Renee says, I was on medications for over a decade. Anxiety and depression.
no more.
No more. That's crazy. And Renee, I'm sure there's a handful of things, and people have heard some of your story, but some of that don't know you. Wow, we'd love to hear more. We're running out of time. I mean, we have time, but we know that you're busy. But we'd love to hear more of why and how you were able to do that. That's such a huge, like, something to
Win.
celebrate. Huge win. So
Somebody asked about what do you do when you go out with your friends and then you feel isolated. And also somebody asked about a restaurant and that the way you cook, there's some things you cannot even taste, sometimes you taste. A few things. If you know your why, as you mentioned that you know your why, that's the most important thing. Most important thing. Sometimes, in order for us to grow and to get well and to get healthy, we have to make different life decisions, meaning sometimes we have to stop hanging out with the people that has really unhealthy habits. Otherwise, it was going to be a little bit more challenging for you. And yes, lifestyle change means that you get to change in many different areas, and that's not necessarily easy because maybe you love your friends, but if they're dragging you into not unhealthy ways of life, then you have to put on a scale what is most important for you. I'm not saying get rid of your friends. I'm just saying just really pay attention to the energy and the activities you do together. When we go out to eat, we choose normally the restaurants, or we tell our friends, hey, let's eat in this place because in this place we get to find the options we can eat, for example. And in many circumstances, I also decide decide to bring my own stuff. So while they're eating their sweet stuff, I can eat my own sweet, delicious, yummy things and participate in the.
If we're going to somebody's house for dinner or we get invited, like, okay, so you bring your own stuff.
I bring my own sweet stuff and I enjoy it with them. I enjoy their company, but with my food. I think also for you, you have an amazing opportunity right now in front of you of choosing different things for your menu of your restaurant. I think now that you know these things, it would be difficult to serve food that is not healthy. And this is the opportunity to start changing the ways, to bring more awareness into what you're serving your people, because I feel that having more people or owner restaurants that are conscious and that are aware of how important the ingredients, the way things are cooked, that you actually feel good after you eat in a place because you feel that everything you ate was healthy. We need more of that, and maybe this is the chance you have, maybe this is the opportunity you have to change the menu and to start offering things that are actually going to empower people and make them feel healthier. And that's the only thing I can say. If you cannot even taste or consume what you're serving in your restaurant, not from a place of judgment, but I think thank you for being open with this. This is so important. You get to choose to do things differently and in service to the health of people instead.
So that's in reference, there was a comment, and I don't know if I pronounced your name right. Was it Julann? Gulann, I believe, had a question. So we're specifically.
Very important question. And thank you for sharing that and for posting it here. I think you are in a really good position right now because you get to choose to do things differently for you and for the people you serve.
Cool. So finishing out these comments and we'll get going is, okay, Savannah, on the food chart says no lemon with cucumber, but the first day video I watched, she drank lemon water, then immediately juiced cucumbers. Okay. I'm confused.
That's a protocol we do for membership, and it is also here in the group in the past. It's not immediately. She did it immediately probably because of, or very close together because
Prep time
of
and
prep
video.
time. But she mentioned that you take at least 15 minutes before one and the other. Lemon water, it really goes through the digestive system. It's not gonna stay in your stomach digesting and fermenting, and no, it's gonna go pretty much through because it's water and lemon. So it doesn't need much time. You only need 15 minutes, 15 minutes, and then you drink your cucumber juice. So you're not mixing them. This is really important, and this is a protocol we've seen in the previous years.
Yeah.
So you never mix them, and pay attention also to this, the little things that she says. It's in there. She mentions it, that you wait 15 minutes.
Great. Teresa, I started changing my food back in October, and I can say that food can hurt your emotions. I sat in bed with a shattered, broken big toe and got depressed and gained 20 pounds. I started with your detox protocol and got COVID and lost 3 pounds. I've lost 18 pounds since October 2nd. Congrats. And my mental health is already 90% better. Thanks for getting me started. Eating right takes a lot of discipline, but well worth the benefits. Just need to find time to blast. Thanks for all the great information.
Yay.
Congrats, Teresa.
Congratulations.
Yes.
And we acknowledge you. We know it takes discipline, but we know it pays off.
And then it becomes easy, it becomes super easy. And Teresa actually responding to the other question about the lemon juice and the all right. And Diana says, could you partner with Salt Sisters, hint, hint, for your restaurant?
Yeah, good option. Salt Sisters has a really good alternatives. So that's it, a little bit more than an hour, but there's a lot of questions. We're really grateful for all your questions, your comments. Again, reminding you, always be kind. We think differently. We see things from a different perspective, all of us. And compassion and kindness, it's always necessary for this group and important for this group. And thank you for doing the work. Thank you for staying here. Day 5, keep it up. Don't lose motivation. Stay with discipline. Stay with discipline.
Tomorrow, day 6, and read the book. Listen to the audio book. Whatever, but it's so powerful. So lots of love, big bear hugs. Thanks for being here, and we will see you in tomorrow's deep dive. And we'll also be here next Friday, more than likely next Friday.
Same
we'll post
same time
for a live, and we'll be able to answer all your questions, concerns, and everything. So keep on keeping on. You got this.
Gracias.